What's the debate topic? Are you like, okay, first of all, don't condescending me. Second of all, like, make an argument
I
and
can't
then
help
rebuff
myself.
it.
What's the debate?
You can't help yourself.
I can't.
Are you saying you have a compulsion disorder?
I do. I have to
Did you just
compulsively.
tell him not to be condescending? That's funny.
I have to treat thoughts a certain way. So again, if you'd help me out here, Maddie, can you tell me what's the debate topic?
The debate topic is, do OnlyFans customers create harm?
Right. And so what's harm?
What's harm?
Yeah.
Well, that's sort of what we were discussing earlier. We were
So
trying to come to a foundation.
Right.
What do you by any? No, I'm saying, okay, well, there's many types of harm. I'm sorry. Harm is when not Christian, apparently. Is that correct?
Well, wait. Well, I mean, yes.
Is that correct?
But that aside, while that may be a
so harm is not Christian.
I'm
guessing you've never thrown a pigskin football around, right?
Let me just ask you again.
Christianity doesn't love
just
that.
real quick, because this is really important. If we don't agree with your definition of harm, which you haven't given yet, how can we even proceed into having a debate, Maddie?
Well, it's interesting because I'm the one arguing that it's not causing harm. So you're kind of asking me to prove a negative. Whereas if you are saying that it is harmful, then Maddie, the onus is on you to define what harm is. And we told you, you're asking me what the definition of harm is. Okay, there needs to be, there's a number of metrics. That there's harm based on, let's say, psychological, right? Where we're talking about like, okay, it's if you're making the argument that it's leading to addiction issues, and that specifically because they are subscribed to OnlyFans, and that is what is driving the addiction, whatever, then that would be a metric. That would be a metric with which you could measure harm.
Yeah, well, what's the definition of harm, though, so that we know what we're measuring?
Do you want me to link you the dictionary? Do you not have Google?
I just want you to tell me so that we know what we're operating.
Your ignorance knows
you
no
asked
bounds.
for a definition of harm. At the beginning, you said, can we please define what harm is? You asked for the definition of harm, and now you're like,
I've learned that harm means when not Jesus. Harm means when not Jesus, and thank you.
Okay,
well, I can tell you, you must have gotten that definition from your very extensive research.
Well, wait.
So now you don't want to define harm.
No, it's fine. If she defines harm as not being Jesus, then we have won the debate.
Yeah, because Jesus loves you guys.
Okay, so with all this, I think I think we can come to like I think we can come at it like this. Like, generally, I think your average person would understand harm to be something along the lines of damage, injury to not being able to do something that you wanted to, or something out of your control that impedes something that you were looking to do. Typically, is how people would consider that to be harm. Pain, suffering could also be under that definition. So obviously, you could harm somebody by making them feel distress, emotional distress. You could harm somebody by shooting them. You could harm people in many different ways.
Good.
So this would be
I'm
like
glad that you finally defined harm, because now, based on what you just said, I want to ask.
You do seem glad.
Are you in favor of a lot of the measures that were taken during the global events of the last couple of years, which a lot of people thought were causing them suffering, distress, preventing them from doing things they wanted to do, like leave the house, go to work, run their business.
I would say the people that died from
practice
COVID probably
bodily
felt more
autonomy
distressed.
and choose what things go into their body and what things don't. So if you define harm that way, then are you like a pure anarchist or a libertarian, like a really strong libertarian, because you don't want these restrictions?
I would say the people that died from COVID probably would feel differently about if we totaled up the harm done. That's a very good argument, Andrew. Thank you.
No, and we can then say, okay, so you are saying that sometimes it's worth it to restrict certain behaviors and make policy decisions that restrict certain behaviors if we can prove that they are harmful under what Chris just said.
Is your correlation a deadly virus to OnlyFans?
No, I'm saying, are you in favor of preventing people from doing certain things and taking away certain liberties, enforcing certain behaviors and restricting others under the guise of preventing harm?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
When the
Got
harm
it.
is tangible and like definable, and in the case of a global pandemic, a once in a lifetime pandemic, yeah, I would say that succinctly falls under that category.
Right. So all of the stuff I listed in the beginning, not sure if Maddie heard what I said, but I think Chris heard what I said, where we're talking about how, women are joining OnlyFans at a very young age. A lot of them the people who do the sex work, they're very young. The median age, I think, was like 21.2 years old. It's really young.
Oh,
And the average consumer of that content is like 35. So we have this market of older men and this creators being these really young, vulnerable girls who haven't built life skills, who haven't built any sort of safety nets for themselves. They may not have gotten married. They don't have an education or a career. They're doing this not because it's been their dream to make $180 online every month, showing everyone their bits and pieces, but usually because they need the money, right? So would we say that this is exploitative of those people? Because normally I feel like you guys would want to protect those people, wouldn't you?
No one's forcing them to go to OnlyFans, just like no one's forcing someone to drive for Uber, just like no one's forcing someone to take any job. So I would say if they're of consenting age and they're making that informed decision for themselves to do whatever they want to do on OnlyFans, no, I don't have a problem with that.
But you say the same thing about heroin.
Just before we go further with this, I do want to redirect us just because we've talked so much about the content creators of OnlyFans. In terms of the potential harm caused by the consumers.
We're there right now.
That's what I'm talking about.
So we're talking about the addiction aspect for the consumer. Would you say the same exact thing for heroin?
For what? Can you restate? I just want to make sure.
Yeah,
so
if they're informed adults,
right?
They
If they're
can do
informed
heroin.
adults and they've consented to do heroin, it's cool, right?
What do you mean by cool? Do
you're
you
fine
mean
with
like I
it.
should
Should
throw
be
them in jail?
legally
You're
permitted.
fine with it.
Yeah, I think it should be legally permitted. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you should like throw somebody in jail for using heroin. No.
So
And
what
we
if
should
don't
have
wanna
a market for
criminalize
it. We
addiction.
should have a
I don't
market
think
for
there's-
that, just like OnlyFans.
Have a market for heroin?
yeah.
I think it's when it comes to heroin, I feel like it's so fundamentally different. In other like substances that people take, they're fundamentally different than a lot of other things, like even possibly gambling, porn as well. That they should be legal, but I think they should be restricted. And I think they should come with clear markets from people who are the companies who are the ones like providing the platform for that to tell people what they're getting into, and they should be held legally responsible for that.
Okay, so just to back this up, I want to make sure I get this right.
Sure.
Heroin, you think that heroin use, there should be a market for it. Is that
No.
correct?
No.
No. You didn't say,
No.
you didn't just say that there should be.
No.
No,
There should not be a
saying that
market
you're not
for
going to.
heroin. But if we're speaking about the customers or the people who have heroin or heroin doers, they should not be held like they should not be.
Criminally.
The state should not like come in and like. fuck
So
their
if
shit
there
up.
was no OnlyFans, there would be no simps to get addicted to pornography on OnlyFans, right, Chris?
No, he's saying that you don't need to criminalize.
Yeah,
Like,
I know
when
what
you're
he said. I
Criminalizing
just heard it.
something.
Okay, no,
you-
that here. Sure, if there was no OnlyFans, there wouldn't be anybody on OnlyFans. That's true.
Right. So you wouldn't create a market for heroin because of that
Mhm.
addiction. Why would you
Yep.
create a market for people to become addicted to OnlyFans?
Well, it's not. Well, for one, it's not as addictive or anywhere near addictive, and honestly, the jury is out. if it's
Oh,
addictive
wait.
at all.
How do you
It's
know?
true though. Should we not have a market for sugar?
Yeah. So how do you know? How do you know?
Or
it's
like,
not
should
as
we not have a
addictive? How do you-
market
Well, wait.
for
How do you
alcohol?
know if it's not as addictive, Chris?
Let's ban
How do I know
alcohol.
it's not addictive? It's common sense.
Oh, it's common sense. that
It's
not
common
addictive.
sense.
It's his
It's
intuition.
common sense. Anybody
It's
knows
his,
this.
it's his intuition. So
Mhm,
I
yep.
did notice when I had watched your kind of revamp of me earlier that you were going to use the argument of intuition, but you have to use intuition with foundation. You don't understand what intuition is.
Sure.
So what's the foundation for your intuition, or do you have one? Just say
Uh,
no.
my
Just say
foundation-
no.
Okay,
I was
my
raised
founda-
Catholic, so
My foundation for this intuition is
Uh-huh.
specifically that porn and viewing something is fundamentally different when we're talking about grown adults than taking a substance. It does different things to your brain because you're not putting something literally in your body.
But it is addictive.
Unfortunately for you, I have to refute that because you are incorrect according to the science that you guys want to follow.